Hello everybody and welcome to my Season 11 Ultimate Riven Guide. Today we're going to cover the best runes and build for Riven, including the skill order and the summoner spells. I'm also going to explain how Riven should be played in the early game as well as in the mid-late game. We're also of course going to cover the wall jumps, the combos, and most importantly what everyone has been waiting for, every single matchup in the game. So let's get into it. Alright guys, for the best runes for Riven, it's pretty simple. You always want to go into the precision tree, and your main keystone will always be Conqueror. On the second row, you always want to take Triumph. These two runes are kind of useless. In terms of the third row, Alacrity is what you're going to be playing with for 99% of every game that you play, because it will boost up your split pushing and it will also boost up your Riven combos. Now, if you happen to play against like an heavy CC team comp, like a lot of stuns, then you could also go for Tenacity. But if you're kind of unsure, just go with Alacrity instead. Now, lastly, in terms of the last few, you always want to go for Last Stand, because number-wise, I've done a lot of testing. Last Stand always is better in every game. Now, in terms of like the second page, there's two choices that you have. Mainly, you should always go for Transcendence and the Gathering Storm if you want to have the standard page with a lot of scaling. Now, if you do happen to play against like an AP team comp or like an AP matchup, what I do recommend is you take Transcendence with Nullifying Orb. Now, if you are kind of unsure, once again, you just want to stick with Transcendence and the Gathering Storm instead. Now, in terms of the second page, if you want to have like more of a stronger laning phase, what I highly suggest is that you take Shield Bash with a Bone Plate. What this does, quite simple, Shield Bash will improve your damage and Bone Plate will make you stronger in trades. As long as your Bone Plate is up, your trades are going to be a lot better. Now, if you play against like a poking matchup, I would suggest Second Wind, but if you are against like a melee bruiser matchup in top, you should always go for Bone Plates. Now lastly, if you want to have the pure scaling in the resolve tree, what I would recommend instead is going for Bone Plate and Overgrowth, which is what I like a lot. Now lastly, in terms of the bonus stats, you always want to go for Ability Haste, Adaptive Force, and Armor. Now, once again, if you want to improve your laning phase and do more damage, I would suggest going for 2 Adaptive Force. But in my case, depending on your playstyle, I would actually recommend you to go for Ability Haste, especially early game, because you can use the extended Qs with the Ability Haste, which is something you cannot do if you go for Adaptive Force. So it's up to you. In terms of items for Riven, you have 4 typical builds that you want to go for. It kind of depends on what you are going to play against. So in terms of like boots, you always typically want to go for Lucidity boots in 99% of every single game. Now, if you happen to play against a full AD team comp, that's when you want to take Steel Caps. And if the enemy team is full AP or have a lot of CC and mostly AP based, that's when you want to go for Mercs. But the majority of the time, I'd say 95% of the game, you're probably going to go with Lucidity boots all the time. Now, in terms of starter items, if you play against a hard poking matchup, let's say Quinn, Lucian, I don't know, Lissandra top lane, anything that's poking related, you can go for Dorn Shield and improve your laning phase a lot. Now, if you feel kind of confident about all of these matchups, I would always suggest a Longsword instead, but that's when you understand the matchup. Now, lastly, we also have Doran's Blade, which is something I typically don't recommend to buy level 1. If you go for a Longsword, you will have more pots, being able to fight a lot more early, and you can also get the main item a lot faster by going for Longsword. So, Doran's Blade definitely improves your laning phase at the start of the game, but Longsword is going to be a lot better in the long run if you know how to match up who works. Now, in terms of the snowball builds, you typically always want to go for this build. Your Goredrinker, that's something you're always going to build. When you snowball, Hydra is going to improve the farming and makes pushing a lot easier and gives you a lot of sustain while also giving you damage. So this is what you always want to build when you're like 1v9ing the game, right? Now, if you are against like a full AD team comp, that's when you want to go for steel caps and also take a death stance with a Guardian's Angel. Reason for that's quite simple. These 3 items will stack up like so much armor that you can counter them instantly and become super strong and unkillable. Now, if you happen to play against a full CC or full AP team comp, is when you want to go for Mercs and also stack up the Maul items so that you have Mercs for the magic resist and also have the Maul for the shield and the magic resist. This is like 100% counter to full AP team comps and will make you win games quite easily. Now lastly, we also have the max damage build. This is something I typically don't really recommend. This is when if you go for a Sense Reaver and you take Edge of the Night, you will get that early massive power spike. But in return, the late game is not going to be that strong. So you should only go for this build if you are 1v9ing and carrying hard. Unless, I would always go with this build instead of your snowballing. It's way better and way more consistent. As for the skill order, you have 2 options. You have the max Q into W and E, which is what I always do all the time. This will give you more damage, more wave clear, and it will shorten your cooldown on your W, so you can use it more often for CC as well. You also have the second option, which is Q into E and W, and the only reason for going this path is when you need mobility in the game. Usually, you always want to go for the first option instead. In terms of summoner spells, I like to go with Flash and Ignite because I can use the Ignite to cut down the healing from my enemy opponent, and I can also snowball extremely hard in lane with Ignite. Now, if you want a more consistent laning phase, I would suggest Teleport, but that's for the advanced players that actually know how it works. If you don't really understand the concept of using Teleport, go with Ignite instead. And lastly, if you happen to play against a specific matchup, which is the Tryndamere matchup, that's where I would suggest going with Ghost. When playing Riven in the early game, there is 2 ways how you can play this champion. Now, the first way is that once you are in a favorable matchup or you're in a pretty good matchup, you could freeze the wave around your turret. The closer the wave is at your turret, the better it is, because that will allow you to potentially outplay your opponent and kill them during the early game. The second way to play Riven during the early game is to consistently push out your lane. So you can use that pressure to set up something for your jungler, or even roaming down to mid lane, roaming down to the jungle, or getting things done around the map. Usually this is the kind of setup you want to take if you are in a tough, like tanky matchup where you can't really snowball, or if you are just having a rough time killing your opponent. When it comes down to the mid-late game, your main priority is to consistently hard push and split and pressure as much as you can. By doing so, your team can actually take objectives while you are destroying your opponent on the side lanes and forcing the enemy team to group up to kill you. It's also extremely important to take as many jungle camps as you can along with you, so you can use that XP and gold to get even more ahead, allowing you to carry on the side lanes even harder. Also, it's extremely important to get catches and take the enemy jungle camps as well, so not only do you get the XP, but the enemy jungler will fall behind as well. Now, when it comes down to objectives, you always want to try to push down the lane before an objective spawns. So let's say that the Drake is going to be alive very soon. That means that you must try to push either top or bot lane before it spawns. So you can use that to set up the Drake for your team, allowing you to move up there while the enemy opponent is forced to farm down the wave that you just pushed in. By doing so, you can set up some really free objectives and possibly even make insanely good team fights, allowing you to win the game quite easily. Now, as for the Riven combos, we're going over that now. This is a very old video of mine where I show literally every single combo of Riven. Now, if you have already seen all the combos, make sure to check out the time steps below the YouTube video if you want to go to the next object, which is the wall jumps. And here we have all the wall jumps that Riven can do. Alright guys, so I've made a Riven matchup tier list with every single Riven matchup in the game. I've also used a specific website for this, which is the Wix.gg. Basically what I've done is I've made an extreme list with all of the hardest matchups in the game. I've also made a major list of, which means the hardest of the game. I've also made a list for champions that go even against Riven. Then I've also made a list for the easy champions, which are really easy to play against. And then I've also got a list with super free lanes, which is only one champion right now. But anyways, I'm going to cover every single champion and we'll explain you everything on how to beat it. If you're looking for a specific matchup in this list, definitely make sure to check out the timestamps below the YouTube video, because that's where I will place it. So with that being said, let's just get started with Kennen right away, guys. The very first one on the top. So Kennen, I'd say, is a pretty interesting matchup right now. This is actually an extremely, insanely hard counter, and there's hardly anything that you can do in the early game. But then again, there is still one way to beat him. Now, for the advanced Riven players, I would suggest taking a longsword level 1 as a starter item. If you have a lot of trouble in the Kennen matchup, I would say go for a Dorn Shield. It's going to be a lot more safe, and your lane is going to be 10 times easier. Now, in order to beat Kennen in the early game, what I suggest is that you play around Kennen's passive. And for those people that don't know what Kennen's passive is, it's basically where one of his auto attacks is empowered and gives him a stack. He can only get one passive every few autos. And if he throws it on a creep, that will allow you to short trade that Kennen or even do like an all-in. As long as that Kennen passive is down and you get close to him without having to use all of your Qs, you should be able to win a short trade against Kennen, or probably even being able to all-in this guy. Now, if Kennen is smart and he knows about this, then he's probably going to play around that as well. And if he doesn't really give you those trading opportunities, what I would still highly suggest is that you play safe during the early game. Even if you don't kill Kennen during the early game, but you only fall behind a couple CS, or you stay even with him, or even fall behind like only 10 or 20 CS, you're technically winning the matchup, because after the laning phase is when Riven outscales the Kennen, and where it's all about all-in Kennen. So if killing Kennen is not an option during the early game, just play it out safe, make sure you don't die, and you should be fine. Now, onto Poppy. This is pretty much the hardest matchup of the game right now. Poppy is specifically designed by Riot to counter Riven, I'm pretty sure of it. Either way, Poppy is actually extremely weak at level 1, specifically level 1, 2, and 3. So the best way to win against Poppy early on is to try an all-inner at level 1. If she is smart and she uses her shield properly, what I would suggest is that you start off with your shield driven. But ultimately, it comes down to playing aggressive level 1, 2, 3. In terms of all-ins, Riven will always win. But once you reach level 6, what I would suggest is that you don't even bother fighting Poppy. Just play it out safely. Try to push lane if it's possible, if Poppy allows you to. And try to play the roaming game. So push, roam. And do that on repeat. It's very unlikely that Poppy can be killed after level 6 due to her ultimate. And she's also becoming super tanky eventually. So this is the only true way to beat the matchup. Basically having just a tiny bit more farm or going even in terms of farm does actually mean that you're going to win hard. Because eventually Riven will outskill Poppy. And Riven will also being able to make like huge plays in teamfights much better than Poppy. So as long as you don't accidentally die in lane or make any mistakes, you should be okay eventually. Now, for Quinn. Quinn, I'd say, is a very unique matchup because not many people play Quinn at the moment. But if you see Quinn, it's really terrifying. Now, Quinn is probably the hardest matchup of Riven of the game right now as well. But in my opinion, there are still plenty of ways to win the matchup. Now, the way how it works is you want to take a longsword at level 1. Take a Dorn Shield if you're kind of unsure about the matchup and you're not feeling confident. But in my case, if you go for longsword, you should be good to go. Now, the way how it works is that you want to bait out Quinn's E. If Quinn's E is being used before you use your dashes, you can get a free kill. So, every single time Quinn uses E, you want to directly all in the champion and get a free kill. This is pretty much all you're going to do for the rest of the lane. So never get caught inside Quinn's E while using your dash at the same time. If your dashes are being cancelled, it's over. So use your dashes wisely, because this lane could turn immediately if you do it properly. Also, Riven outscales Quinn really hard as well. Now, Renekton is quite an interesting one. So, for Renekton, he's been nerfed several times right now. People don't see him as much of a counter anymore, but the truth is that Renekton is still an insanely hard counter. Now, the best way to beat Renekton is to try and all in Renekton at level 1. Now, it kind of depends on what Renekton is starting with, whether he starts with Q or W. But if you get a push at level 1, like a tiny slow push, and you get the advantage in terms of creeps, you should actually be able to all in Renekton level 1, especially when you have Bone Plate in your runes, which is what I would suggest as well. Now, in terms of starter items, I would say go for a Doran's Blade for the perfect level 1. If you want to have a stronger pre-6 in general, go for a Longsword for the 3 pots and the damage. Now, in terms of level 6, when eventually you reach level 6 and you get the damage and you become a little tanky by buying Phage and the Gorchinger, what you can try to do is short trade the Renekton close to your turret. Now, what that does is if he reacts with a stun or with a Q, or if possibly even with his E, you could actually kill Renekton after the short trade if you maintain the Conqueror stacks, right? Pay close attention to your Conqueror stacks. If you can get 12 stacks against Renekton after the trade and he uses dash, you can actually directly all in the Renekton with a fast Q and possibly kill the Renekton immediately. Now, if Renekton is smart and this doesn't really work, play it out safe. Just relax and chill, because when you reach your Gorchinger, you will automatically win the matchup. So the early game is extremely difficult against Renekton if he's smart, but after the Gorchinger, you will outscale Renekton. So now for Urgot. Urgot is an extremely hard matchup. This matchup is, I'd say, if Urgot is smart, you can't beat the matchup. It's impossible. The only way to beat this matchup is by playing it out safely and trying to go for short trades and not getting caught in Urgot's E. If you only get caught in Urgot's E once, the lane is over. You're probably going to either die or you're going to lose so much health that you have to go back. Now, there's one way to beat Urgot, and that is by baiting out Urgot's E, which is the grab, the dash. If you can successfully dodge Urgot's E, you will win. You will 100% win. Because if you dodge it and you still have your Q and E available, all of your abilities, you can directly all in and win. So, if you're not feeling that confident about sidestepping or dodging Urgot's E, once again, play it out safe. You're not necessarily outscaling Urgot if you're going even with him, because he's really strong in the mid late game as well. But what I can guarantee you is that if you play safe and you get your jungle ganks, you will eventually win if you're Joner and you are successful for once with a gank. And if that doesn't work, Riven is still much more useful in team fights and also in splitting and everything else. So once the laning phase is over, it should be in your advantage. Now, as for Heimerdinger, first of all, no one plays Heimerdinger, but if you play against Heimerdinger, good luck, because you're not going to have fun, man. Now, against Heimerdinger, there are plenty of things that you can do, but what I would suggest is that you take a Dorn Shielded level 1. If you're feeling confident, go for a longsword with 3 pots. Now, the way how you want to play out the matchup is you want to play it out 100% safe. You definitely do not want to push down the lane. You want the wave to be under the tower or close to your turret. So, the way how you beat the matchup, it's all about reaching level 6 and sidestepping the stun from Heimerdinger. You could even kill him in the pre-6, but it's all coming down to sidestepping Heimerdinger's E. It's kind of similar to Urgot matchup, really. It's all about sidestepping the stun and then directly going all in afterwards. If possible, if you have the chance to do so, try clearing out the turrets without taking any damage, like the tiny turrets from Heimerdinger. If you can successfully take down those turrets, he will lose all the damage to kill you. But if that's not an option, sidestep the stun. Try to see if you can all in directly afterwards. It should be a 100% win if you do that successfully. If none of this really works out, you're not really feeling that confident, or he might play extremely good. Once again, play it out safe, because there's nothing much you can do. Like, this matchup is heavily favored for Heimerdinger, and you just can't do anything. So onto the list with the major, like the hard matchups. We have Cassiopeia. Now, Cassiopeia is, I'd say, probably the hardest out of all of these. It's seriously the one of the hardest. Basically, the way how the matchup works is that Cassio is going to constantly poke you, and there's hardly anything that you can do to win. When you try to all-in Cassio, she will hit the ultimate on you, or she will hit the thing with the field. I don't even know how it's called, but the thing that she puts on the floor, and you can't use your dash anymore. Basically, the best way how to deal with Cassio is to try and avoid all her damage altogether, playing it out very safely. Now, the best way to kill Cassiopeia is by cheesing her. And what that means is that you want to try to sit in a bush with all your damage and instantly pop your entire combo without her seeing it and deleting her instantly. This is the best way to kill Cassiopeia, because if you try to dash into a Cassiopeia once she sees it, she can directly counter that by using her ultimate or using that other, thingy, the field thingy. Now, of course, you can outplay Cassiopeia's ultimate by turning around your champion, but if that fails, you instantly lose the matchup. So that's a bad way of taking care of this one. You always want to play that safely, so you want to farm and eventually cheese her when she doesn't expect it and then get a kill on that. If you succeed with that, you will outskill her and eventually beat her. If none of this really works out and she plays it out like so good, then once again, just play it out safely. She's really weak in fights. If you can get to her even only once, then she will die immediately. So it's only a matter of time. Now, Gragas. Gragas, that's this matchup is a joke, honestly. If Gragas goes full tank, there's nothing you can do. If he goes full AP, he will probably completely demolish you. It's not really a fun matchup. However, there is a way to beat him. If you are up against Gragas, if you successfully short trade him a couple of times, you should be able to get him down early on in the game, pre-6. If the short trades don't really work, then after you reach level 6, there will be like a nice outplay you can do. For instance, if you trade him with a short trade and he uses his E on you, his dash, and he crashes in the middle of your wave instead of on you, you will immediately get a kill as long as his ultimate fails. Right? Now, if you don't really get that chance, push down the wave and roam. Push and roam. And do that for the whole laning phase. Don't be too interested in fighting Gragas. It's probably not going to happen. All you want to do is just push, roam, farm camp, push, roam. This is the best way to beat Gragas. You just out-farm him. You just out-roam him. You don't really fight him. Now, Illaoi. Illaoi is, yeah, quite an interesting one. Some people see this champion as a massive counter. Some people see him as a super easy matchup. In my opinion, I find Illaoi pretty easy because I have a very fast reaction time and I got a really low ping. But I still put him on major because he's extremely hard to beat for some people. Mainly because it's all coming down to like sidestepping Illaoi. Now, the best way to beat Illaoi is honestly about sidestepping everything, but most importantly, Illaoi's E. If you take Ignite in this matchup with Riven, and you sidestep Illaoi's E, you will win automatically. All you have to do is sidestep her E, put Ignite, all in, you win. All you have to do is just a fast Q, use your ultimate, and you will instantly beat her. So, if that doesn't really work out and she's super smart, same rule applies. If she farms out safely against you, just push down the lane and see if you can roam. Because if Illaoi players play really safe, it's really hard to catch them. So, now onto Jayce. Jayce is an extremely hard matchup. I suppose I could have probably added Jayce to the extreme ones, but there's still a chance at killing Jayce. For instance, when you play against Jayce in the pre-6, you can take a longsword and you could actually kill him. The way how it works is that if he transforms from the melee range to the ranged form, there's a specific around 5 to 6 seconds where you can all in Jayce and kill him. The same thing applies after level 6. If he transforms from melee to ranged, that is the opportunity for you to kill Jayce. That's why I put him in the major list, because he needs to play perfectly to win it. So, if Jayce is super smart and he knows what he's doing, play it out safe, because when you reach your Goredrinker, you will win. So, once again, from melee to ranged, that's your opportunity to kill Jayce. Otherwise, stay away from him. Do not take any damage. Just stay away. It's definitely okay if you're falling behind with like 10 CS, maybe 20. As long as you don't feed Jayce, you should be good to go. Kled matchup. Kled is a champion I honestly haven't found since the last entire month. For some reason, no one really plays Kled right now, but he's still an extremely strong, I would say like OP champion right now because of the way how Kled works. With his little horse, I guess. But the best way to beat Kled is to take a Doran Blade after the longsword, and you have to react to Kled the way how his W works. So for those that never play Kled, Kled has this ability that once it hits an auto on the creeps or to you, he gets like 3 extra auto attacks, which are way faster, way more empowered. Well, at least way faster. I'm not sure about the empowered. But if he uses that on you, you will instantly lose. You will instantly die. So the best way to deal with Kled is to sidestep the hook, like the Q he always uses. And also wait for him to use his W on the creeps. Now, Klett's W cannot be stopped. It cannot be activated. It will just count up, and once it's ready and he uses an auto on the creep, it will automatically activate, which means it's only a matter of time for him to use it, right? So once again, if he uses W, which will eventually happen, that's going to be your opportunity to sidestep his hook, his Q, and then trade him. If you do that successfully and you get him off his horse, all that's left to do is all in afterwards. Make sure he doesn't get to charge his horse thingy on you, where he gets it back, but instead just directly all in, get a kill on him, and you should be good to go. Now after the laning phase, you will outskill Kled. 100%. This guy, if he doesn't get kills early game, he's going to be pretty useless. So he must win against you. Now for the set matchup, this champion is extremely popular, man. Like literally, this is the most played top laner currently in the patch. Set is interesting, I'd say. So the way how Set works, you want to take a longsword against him at level 1. You want to play it extremely safe at level 1, because if Set starts off with E, he will always beat you at level 1. If he starts off with Q, you could actually tray him and proc his bone plate and maybe hit like a few third Qs, but generally speaking, you want to play it out safe against them. Once you reach level 3 is when things turn around, because once you reach level 3, you can try to short trade that Set. Like your goal is to short trade that Set and not getting caught by his E, which means you can trade him with a third Q into a stun and then immediately dash backwards. If you do that successfully, you will often like get Set's E, like he will often use the E and then you can turn again. Like they're often very slow with reacting with their E, so often you can get free trades on Set. Now eventually, if you do that enough times, like all of your short trades are successful, eventually you can just all in Set and get a free kill. It's all about short trading this guy. Now one more thing, if Set happens to use his E on you, you can actually, like, it doesn't matter when, if you get stunned or not, especially if you don't get stunned, you can directly short trade him with a QW or WQ auto and then backing out again. So take that into consideration. If you happen to get caught by Set's E, try to make sure to make use of that and at least get your short trade off before you dash backwards. Now after laning phase, you will eventually outskill Set. Same story. Riven is an extremely strong late game champion, and all of these champions so far, like Riven will eventually just outskill. Now on to Volibear. Yeah, Volibear. Super tanky, super OP. Honestly, I don't even know why I put Volibear in Major. He's actually extremely hard. If you play against Volibear, play safe. There is honestly nothing you can do. There's no way to beat this matchup. Honestly, the best, like the only way to beat this matchup is by short trading, which means dropping down your Q into stun and then auto and then shield back all the time. If you get caught inside Volibear's stun, it's over. Like you're gonna lose half of your health bar. So my best advice, honestly, play it out safe, stay at your turret, go with short trades, and don't get caught by his stun. If you successfully short trade, you should be able to short trade him before he hits the stun on you, and this is the way how you can beat Volibear. If you can get him below 50% health through successful short trades, you can actually kill Volibear. But it's extremely hard to do. If you're not feeling confident about this matchup, play safe and just farm up, push and roam. That's the best way to deal with him. Now for Yorick. Yorick is a rare matchup, man. This thing, you won't find them a lot, but when you do, it's a disaster. So the way how Yorick works, you want to start off with a longsword against him. And in the level 1, you want to play extremely aggressive. Try getting a push on the creeps and see if you can reach level 2 first. If you can successfully reach level 2 before him, try to go for a cheese and see if you can all in just and get a kill on him. Now, when you want to be very careful is when you reach level 3. Because if you get caught inside Yorik's stun, into Yorik's wall, and you don't have your dashes anymore, you're done. You're dead. You're probably going to lose your entire health bar, or you're going to survive with just a little bit. So, the best way to handle Yorick is to consistently trying to either push and roam, or consistently freeze out the wave at your turret, and trying to go for short trades to the point where he can't wall you. So if you stay close to your turret and you go for a short trade and he wants to drop the wall on you, you should be in a position where you can save yourself successfully without getting stuck in it. Same thing applies level 6. If you get stuck in the wall, you're probably dead. So honestly, this matchup is pretty hard, but if you can avoid the wall, you should be good to go. You will also outskill him in the mid lane game as well, so it's not too much to worry. It's all about outplaying Yorik's wall. On to Lucian. This is a rare matchup, and I have a big story to talk about with Lucian, honestly. Last year, when I was going for the Challenger to rank 1, I played like a couple of games per day. I had like a nice YouTube series going, but I had to play against the rank 1 of the Challenger list of the whole server. And that guy always played Lucian top, and I could never beat this matchup. But eventually, I found a I learned a lot about this matchup. So the way how you want to beat Lucian is you want to cheese this thing at level 1. Stay inside the bush and wait for Lucian to move in. Now, once you reach level 6, or at least you want to play safe until you reach level 6. Try taking a Dorn Shield if you're not feeling confident. If you feel really confident, go for a longsword. But ultimately, when you reach level 6 and you 3rd Q Lucian's dash, you got a free kill all the time. You just have to successfully time out your 3rd Q with Lucian's dash, and you will always kill him. Now, of course, if Lucian is smart and he's a really good player, that's probably not going to happen. But if that is the case, play it out safe. You know, you could go for an item that could counter Lucian, such as the Prowler's Claw, but it's unlikely. I don't recommend building that. Play it out safe and see if you can directly all-in him as soon as you get the chance. Now, on to the next matchup. Wait, let me just get something to drink real quick. Been talking so much. Alright. So, on to the Akali matchup. This is, I'd say, Akali is one of my favorite matchups right now. Every single time I play against Akali, it's, in my eyes, it's a free win. I consider the Akali matchup to be an even matchup. If she plays extremely good, it can be hard. But if you play better as Riven, you will win. So the way how this matchup works is that you have to bait out Akali's Shroud. And by doing so, you can directly all in and get a free kill. Now, the way how you bait down Akali's Shroud is by short trading Akali, and not necessarily the classic short trade where you go in with 3rd Q into W auto, but instead you want to directly shield into Akali, use your stun, auto, and then Q away. Now what that does is if you do that correctly and you do it fast enough, she won't actually react properly to that. She will try to press E, it will buffer, and it will start off too late to the point where you might get a free E, or she might even use her Shroud. Now, if you can successfully get her E down or her Shroud, she becomes very, very weak, because these are very high cooldowns and she needs those to protect herself. If they go down, all in, you get a free kill all the time. Now, Camille is a pretty fun matchup, I'd say. If she's really good, it can be hard. If she doesn't know how to play Camille, it's an easy win. Against Camille, you can play really aggressive at level 1. Try to see if you can get a third Q off against Camille at level 1. And see if you can proc the Bone Plate. They will most likely be able to play with Bone Plate, so you're going to have to proc that. Try to have a push at level 1. See if you can get some third Qs off. If her passive goes down level 1, go for the all-in. You should be winning. Now, when you get level 3 specifically, she will try to get her W off on you. When she uses her W, she becomes vulnerable for at least 1 second. She can't do anything if she uses W, so try to trade her specifically when she uses W by third queuing into her. You're probably going to win. If that doesn't really work out, play it out safely. Try to react to her E when she uses it. Try to sidestep it with your shield. If that succeeds, you can turn all in and you probably get a free kill. This is pretty much how it's going to go for the rest of the lane. Eventually you will just, after laning phase, if you get ahead, you will win for the rest of the game probably. She needs a lot of time to outscale you. So now on to Darius. Darius has actually been nerfed quite a lot. I'd say that Darius is still a pretty hard matchup to beat in some cases. Kind of depends on like how good the Darius is. At least if we're talking about a challenge of Darius here, of course. But generally speaking, this is a pretty easy matchup right now if you played in the lower elos from silver to diamond. The way how you beat Darius is you play very aggressively at level 1. If Darius starts off with W, stay away from him. If Darius starts with Q at level 1, you will win. You just go for the push level 1. Get a third Q off on Darius to see if he has Bone Plate. And try to all in Darius level 1. If you can successfully fast Q into the middle of Darius Q, you'll hard win. Now, when you reach level 6, however, if Darius uses his E on you, just directly all in. Just do it. If you're full life and you got the creeps by your side and you play Riven specifically with Ignite, go in, kill him. That's the way how it works. You just have to purposely get grabbed by Darius and you just all in afterwards and you should win. Fiora. Fiora's a skill matchup. She is not necessarily a hard matchup, I would say. It's more about skill. The way how the matchup works, she will most likely play with Bone Plate. You want to try to proc the Bone Plate at level 1 with the third Q. When you reach level 3, if you can successfully short trade Fiora without getting hit by the parry, you should win. If she uses parry and it doesn't stun you, just all in, you win. It's all about baiting down Fiora's parry and then directly all-inning afterwards. Same concept level 6. If she uses parry, all in. If you successfully do the fast Q from Riven, you should be able to win. It's honestly, I'd say it's a pretty easy matchup if you know how it works, but it also kind of depends on like what the player is, like how good the guy is. So, onto the Gangplank matchup. Gangplank, I actually don't even know why I put him in this list. He's actually a pretty hard counter, but there's still plenty of ways to beat him. So, what you want to do against Gangplank is you want to either start off with a longsword level 1, or you want to take your Dorn Shield. Now, the way how the matchup works is that Gangplank will always poke you all the time in lane. And it's going to be... it won't be fun. So, the best way to deal with Gangplank is to play it out safely. Try to always counter Gangplank's Q with your shield. always tank it with your shield. If he uses his barrel, try to sidestep it with your Q, with Riven's Q. And if you can successfully proc Gangplank's Bone Plate, and you can successfully get more creeps by your side while pushing, and you can get a fight off, take the all-in against Gangplank, starting with your shield and auto, and you should be able to win. Very important, as long as you keep blocking the damage from Gangplank's Q and sidestep his barrels with your Riven's Q, you should be able to survive. And if you can successfully get a few short trades off, you can turn that into an all-in and probably win against Gangplank. Now, for Gnar, go for Longsword. You don't need a Doran Shield. Doran Shield is only for people that don't know how the matchup works, but go for Longsword even if you don't know the matchup. What you want to do is you want to try to fight Gnar level 1. Try to sit in the river and wait for Gnar to move in. If he moves in, you can probably get a lot of damage on level 1. Now, most importantly, you can always block Gnar's Q with your shield. And what your main priority, your main goal is to bait Gnar's jump. Now, if this guy is in the tiny form and he uses E, all in, you win. If he's in the other form, into the big, gigantic, massive monster form, I guess, don't fight him. Don't even consider it. Because if he gets a stun off on you, or the ultimate off on you, you're pretty much dead. So, play that safely. Wait for his tiny form to come in. See if you can do a little tiny trade and bait Gnar's E. Once again, successfully getting his E, just all in, and you win. Same thing after the laning phase, you will outscale Gnar. So even if you don't get kills in lane, as long as you get even farm and you don't feed, you should be able to outscale Gnar and become a lot more useful than Gnar towards the mid late game. So don't worry too much if you don't happen to kill Gnar. You're going to be fine anyways. So, onto Aurelia. Now, Aurelia is a skill matchup. She has the slight favor if she knows how to play it. Pretty simple. If you play against Aurelia, you want to start off with either a Doran's Blade or a Longsword. Take a Doran's Blade if you want to have a stronger level 1. Most importantly about Aurelia is that you only fight her when she doesn't have the passive up. So when she has 0 stacks on the passive, that's when you want to fight her. Stack up your creep wave and see if you can short trade into, or maybe potentially even an all-in. Never, never, never fight Aurelia when she has her passive up, because she will turn and she will kill you. So once again, fight her only when the passive is down. Now, Mordekaiser is a even matchup. Some people consider this to be a counter matchup. In my opinion, it's an even matchup. The way how the matchup works is you want to consistently sidestep Mordekaiser's Q. If you can successfully always sidestep Mordekaiser's Q and shield while trading him, you should always win the trades, pretty much. Especially pre-6. If he tries to get his E off on you, the grab, the Mordekaiser grab, if you get caught, he's going to do a lot of damage. But usually you can sidestep it through using Riven's Q or possibly Riven's Shield. Now, most importantly, the way how you beat the matchup is every time you trade Mordekaiser, do it when his E is down. And try using your shield to block Mordekaiser's Q damage, right? If you can successfully short trade him and tank Mordekaiser's Q damage with your shield, you will win all the time. And especially after level 6, if you're in the ultimate of Mordekaiser, he will outscale you in the ultimate, he will beat you. But as soon as the ultimate expires, you're way stronger than Mordekaiser, so take advantage of that. Now, Ornn. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. I don't know what to say about people that play Ornn, honestly. But yeah, if you play against Ornn, take a longsword level 1. Definitely not a Doran Shield or Doran's Blade, just a longsword. The way how the matchup works is that you want to tank up Ornn's Q with your shield all the time. As long as you never get caught by Ornn's Q, you should be good to go. Like you can actually successfully farm. You can farm super safely. You can push. You can roam. That's all that matters. So, if you play against Ornn, don't even bother fighting Ornn, especially after level 6. Push and roam. This should be in your mind. That's the only thing you want to do. Push, roam, take camps, and push. You don't really want to do anything with Ornn. You could technically kill him in the pre-6 because he's not tanky then. Like, he's not tanky yet. But if that doesn't really work, just push and roam. You don't have to do anything with them. Now, Rumble. Honestly, Rumble, I don't really know much to say about this champion. He used to be a pretty hard counter matchup, but ever since he got changed, I've actually only seen him like twice in top lane. And honestly, the matchup was quite easy for me due to the changes that happened. I wouldn't really say he's much of a hard champion anymore. It's quite simple. Play it out with a longsword level 1. See if you can fight at level 1 through a cheese in the bush. If that doesn't really work, try to cheese in level 2. Try to push lane. If he goes for Arcane Comet, you can also play it out super safe. Wait for your level 3. See if you can take a short trade there. If that doesn't really work, play it out very safe until you reach level 6. Stack up your damage and see if you can just all-in Rumble. Then again, if that doesn't really work, play it out safe. You're 100% outscaling Rumble anyways. So there's absolutely nothing you have to worry about. Don't worry. As long as you don't feed the matchup and you stay pretty much even with Rumble, by doing bad, you still win. Now, Shen. Yeah, honestly, Shen. This champion is honestly the most interesting of all champions, man. I would say take a longsword level 1. Never fight Shen with an all-in at level 1 if he has shield. Because as long as the creeps are even out, chances are likely you're going to lose it due to the Shen's empowered Qs. Now, you can technically win against Shen at level 1 as long as he doesn't have the empowered Qs. So you either push and get the level 2 first and fight him, or you only hit him with a third Q when his bone plate is down and he doesn't have the empowered Qs. That's when you want to fight him. Now, after reaching level 6, honestly, this matchup is a pretty hard outscaling matchup for Riven. If you get your Gorshinker, you're automatically winning the matchup already. But most importantly about the matchup is that you, when you fight Shen, is that you stack your Conqueror. If you can get 12 stacks successfully and you can all-in Shen afterwards, you will win. If you can sidestep Shen's dash, you can all-in as well, and you will immediately win. So, focus around dodging Shen's dash, and try to maintain the Conqueror stacks, and you're probably gonna, you're probably gonna win hard. And if none of this really works out, play it out, push and roam. You will eventually just outscale Shen anyways. Now, onwards Teemo. Yeah, Teemo, go for Doran Shield. Or Longsword. If you're feeling confident, go for Longsword. If you're not feeling really confident, go for Doran Shield. Most importantly about this matchup is that you try to not get caught by Teemo's Q and Teemo's autos. And just go for full damage early on. If you can get to level 6 with full damage, you can just directly all-in. Take one tiny short trade before you approach him with an all-in to proc his bone plate if he has it. with a third Q, or go for like a tiny little trade and just directly all in afterwards. You should win. Same thing later on in the game. You will always win the Teemo matchup. You just have to all in and win. Now, Tryndamere. So Tryndamere used to be a hard matchup, but no longer. The way how you beat the matchup is you want to play it out safely at level 1. You either push and you play super aggressively, or you will play it out super safely and wait for level 3. Now, when you reach level 3, that's when you will automatically win the lane. Your goal is to short trade Tryndamere every single time he goes for a CS. And if he tries to dash on you with damage, you will block that with your shield. If you do that successfully every single time, you will 100% win the matchup pre-6. Once he does reach level 6, and you haven't got to kill him yet, or you haven't got to like, got the advantage yet, it is all a matter of getting him low enough, stay close to your turret so he doesn't get like anything done on you, and try to keep short trading until he goes low enough, and then you see if you can instantly kill him before he can use ultimate. If none of this really works out, play that kind of safe. You don't really have to worry about when you play against Trynd anymore. So, Wukong. Wukong is an even matchup right now. Same concept with Tryndamere. You just want to short trade him all the time. If Wukong uses Q and he hits like the full damage on you, you've probably done something wrong, like you should have blocked that with your shield. Same concept with Wukong's E. If he hits his E on you, you should always block that with your shield. Now, most importantly, if you have more creeps by your side, your wave is much bigger than Wukong's wave, and you tray him, you should always win. Now, it's all about short trading, which means the third Q into W auto and shield out. That's pretty much what you're going to do all the time. You're eventually going to outskill Wukong as well. He's pretty strong, but he used to outskill Riven, but no longer with all the changes. So take it easy on him. If nothing really works out against Wukong and he plays extremely safe, which some Wukong players do, just push, see if you can roam, see if you can get some camps. Now, Aatrox. So, Aatrox is by far the most interesting matchup because this can either be an easy matchup or it can be the hardest matchup ever. Now, it's all about sidestepping Aatrox, his Qs. If you can successfully sidestep Aatrox, the empowered Qs, and even his W, you win. All you have to do is short trade Aatrox, not get caught by Aatrox W, not getting caught by Aatrox the empowered Qs, and you will always win. Especially after level 6, when you play Riven with Ignite, all you have to do is all in and kill him. It's quite simple, but it can be very hard. It's all about sidestepping. There's nothing really more to say about the matchup. Rengar. Rengar, play safe. Don't even bother fighting him level 1. Also not level 2, 3, 4, and 5. Rengar will always win pre-6. Unless you get a push on him, but that's not what Rengar's play will ever do. Play it out safe. When you reach level 6, go back to base, buy new items, come back, and short trade him. Every single time he goes for a jump on the creeps, short trade him. Make sure you try to get as much damage off with a short trade as possible and shield backwards. Do not take any damage from Rengar. If you succeed a couple times, you can directly all in, pop the ignite, and kill him for free. And you will also outskill Rengar as well if you do it properly. Now, Gwen. Gwen. easy matchup in my opinion, but some people have it hard against her. If you want to beat Gwen, play super aggressive at level 1. If she starts Q, you win. If she starts E, you have to it's kind of tricky. But go for longsword, go 3 pots, push down wave level 1, see if you can get level 2 first, and directly all in afterwards. You should win. Especially level 6, same concept. You short trade, you all in, you win. You always win the early game against Gwen if you do it properly. Jax, I call Jax an easy matchup because it is, in my opinion, because I know how to match. Like, if you know how the matchup works, it's super easy. But if you don't know how the matchup works, it can be super hard. The way how Jax works is you have to play safe at level 1. You could technically play super aggressive at level 1 against him if you know how to successfully like dodge Jax's E. But do not even bother fighting Jax if you don't know how. Now, when you reach level 3, short trade, short trade, short trade, short trade, short trade. You just want to short trade all day. If he goes for E, you shield away all the time. Always short trade, which means you're going to dash in with your Q, stun, auto, and you shield out at all times. You should always win. There's no way you can't lose it. If you do it properly, you should win. Now, Kayle. Kayle is super easy. Like, I don't even know. Like, oh yeah, I already know. The reason why I put Kayle here and not here is because Kayle scales extremely well. So the way how Kayle works is level 1, you all in. Level 2, you all in. Level 3, 4, 5, and level 6, you all in. That's your answer. Like, you'll always win. It doesn't matter how you play it, you will win 99% of the time unless you mess up really hard. So, when you reach a certain point, Kayle will eventually outscale you, but you should already have won the lane at that point. That's all that matters. There's not really a way to play against Kayle. It's just about all-inning at all moments and avoiding the power spike. So, on to Nessus. Wait, let me get something to drink again. Alright, on to Nessus. So, Nessus is quite a strong champion right now, but against Riven, Riven wins. The way how it works is every single time that Nessus goes for a creep to stack up his Q, just go with a short trade. Always go for every single short trade you possibly can. Every single time he tries to farm, short trade. That's the best way to deal with Nessus. If you do this successfully, you should win 90% of the time. Now, if Nessus is smart and he knows about this, and he plays super safe, he will eventually fall behind. So, either way, when you make it through level 6, Nessus will eventually outscale you. So, the way how you want to play is you want to push lane and roam. If Nessus becomes too strong, you just don't care about him anymore. Push and roam. Leave Nessus alone. Don't bother. That's the best way to deal with Nessus, because they will usually stack forever and never do something. So you push and you roam and you actually win the game, right? Malphite is kind of a similar concept. Like, you win the pre-6 through all-inning all the time. That's pretty much your answer there. Like, you just have to all-in Malphite at all times when you get the chance. At some point, he's going to be way too tanky. And that's when you want to push and roam. Kind of similar concept. Malphite will eventually just become unkillable and you can no longer all-in him. So, push and roam is the answer. You're eventually going to be really far ahead through farming, because Malphite can't really farm as fast as you can. So, it's a matter of time. You will just automatically win the Malphite matchup. It's just, the longer you are in the game, the better it is for you. Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath will always trade you with W. If you have really fast reaction timing and you have low ping, somewhere around below 60 maybe, below 70. I'd say below 50 is pretty nice. You can actually shield his W all the time. Sometimes it's a little hard to see, but if you can successfully shield his W every single time, you will miss all the damage from him and you will win. Now, most importantly, same concept. Every single time that Cho'Gath goes for a CS, you want to go for a potential all-in or a short trade. It kind of depends on like the wave, on how many creeps are on your end. If you have the majority of the wave on your side, go for an all-in, you will win. As long as you don't get caught by Cho'Gath's Q, you win. Now, after level 6, push and roam. He's probably becoming so tanky that you can't really deal with him anymore. So pushing and roaming is your answer there. Same concept with Maokai. Maokai, in the pre-6, all in, you win. At all times. Just all in whenever you can. Go in with shield, go in with Q, just do whatever you can, and you win. Eventually, after level 6, he will become way too tanky. So, what you want to do is push and roam. There's really nothing else you have to do. Like, Maokai matchup is super easy. It's just about all-inning and then push and roam at all times. Garen. I'm kind of impressed that I even put Garen here, to be honest. In my opinion, Garen should be a free lane. He should be here. But I still put Garen here because people don't know how to play this matchup for some reason. So the way how the Garen matchup works is that level 1, you can fight Garen for free. The way how is you take shield at level 1. You push the lane slightly, just very slowly. You gotta ensure you get level 2. You take your E. And every single time Garen trades you, he's probably gonna take Q. You just want to counter with your shield every single time. Every single time that Garen uses Q, you use your shield to counter this. Right? You want to do this all the time. Now, when you reach level 3, is when you literally, all you have to do is bait Garen's W, which gives him like a tiny shield, and directly all in with blocking his Q with your shield, and just directly all in with your fast Q at all times. And you always will win. You will always win. As long as your fast Q Riven mechanics is good, you always win at all times. Same concept level 6. The whole matchup will always be like that. So, super easy. You just have to learn the Riven fast Q if you can't yet. And it should be easy. Now, Mundo. Mundo got reworked. The new Mundo is pretty OP. But it's a good matchup for Riven, because Riven has 2 stuns instead of 1. So we can constantly take out the passive from Mundo and constantly stun with a second one. So, quite simple. Short trade, ult at all times. Always stay behind creeps and shield Mundo when he throws a creep at you. And you should win all the time. Just keep short trading, keep pushing, and keep roaming. But consistently pushing and roaming lane is what matters. And you should be good to go. Like, this matchup is really not that difficult. It's all about short trading and eventually all in and you win. Kind of the same concept with Sion. Sion will always lose every trade against you early in the game. If Sion tries to Q you, you just counter that by using a stun. Riven has a third Q and Riven has a W. So every single time that Sion tries to charge it, counter it with your stuns. Now, most importantly against Sion, all you have to do is all in, you win. Go for like short trades, you win. After level 6, you will outskill Sion as well. So even after level 6, just if he goes to tanky, just see if you can trade him. If that doesn't work, push and roam. Eventually mid game, you're going to outskill Sion super hard. You will eventually just instantly kill him. It doesn't matter what he builds. Even if he goes Thornmill, you will still win. Doesn't really matter. You will always win. Like, Sion is a pretty easy matchup. Now, Hecarim, honestly, I haven't seen Hecarim in probably 3 months. But I know this matchup. Like, I played it a lot. But if you find a Hecarim, it's a pretty rare one, honestly. But if you want to beat this matchup, super easy. You want to have to push at level 1. Try to see if you can fight in level 1. You should be able to win. Focus around pushing down the lane before the pre-level 6. And see if you can use that pressure to help out your jungler. Maybe roaming mid or whatever. But ultimately, in the early game with the laning phase, short trade Hecarim at all times. If he tries to engage into you, counter that with shield. So save up your shield at all times. So in case he goes into you, in case he all-ins you, counter that with your shield. And then just directly all-in every single time. You should be able to win. When you reach level 6, however, Hecarim has a fair chance at beating you. But up to that point, if the lane becomes hard and difficult, just push and roam. You don't have to you don't really have to fight Hecarim when he becomes too tanky or gets too much damage. Just avoid him. Just push and roam. Do something else. Because Hecarim, if you fight him, he will always ult away from you at all times. Now, Vladimir matchup. It can be an extremely hard matchup, but it can also be a super easy matchup. The way how this matchup works is that all you have to do is just proc Vladimir's W. If you can proc Vladimir's W, which is the pull, all in, and you win. It's literally that simple. So you short trade Vladimir, you get him low enough, and then every time he tries to hit you, you shield, you counter that, you shield backwards, and you do it on repeat. Eventually, he will press W, and that's where you take him out and you win. And you do that on repeat. He will eventually outscale you at some point, but it's going to be very far in the game. And even then, you can still beat him in a 1v1. Like, only in teamfights is when Vladimir will outscale you, kind of. Well, it sort of depends, but ultimately, it's an easy matchup. Now, Yasuo and Yone, I'll just say both of these at the same time because they're super similar. If you play against Yasuo, just proc the Yasuo shield with a 3rd Q and all in. It's literally that simple. You get to level 6, you proc his shield, and you kill him instantly. That's all. It's literally that simple. As long as you don't get caught inside Yasuo's ultimate. Yeah, even if you get caught inside his ultimate, you're still fine. Like, just go full damage, go longsword, go literally full damage, proc his shield with a 3rd Q, and when you get your Q back, all in, and you win. The same concept with Yone. If you can bait Yone's clone, like, not the clone, I don't know how it's called, the shadow or whatever. I don't know how it's called. I'm not a Yone player, but if you can successfully get Yone W, I believe, no, Yone's E. If you can successfully, like, take down Yone's E, you win. You 100% win. All you have to do is just all in, you win. There's nothing else to explain about these two matchups. It's pretty easy. Now, lastly, we have the easiest matchup of, I guess, suppose, like, all matchups, which is Singed. Honestly, you win. I don't have to explain this matchup. Like, you short trade Singed all the time. You short trade him as many times as you want to, at any time you want. As long as you don't get caught inside Singed's E with his W, you're fine. You can push lane, you can roam, you can freeze your lane, whatever Singed wants to do. If he is farming between 2 turrets, you will win. Like, you're 100% won already. It doesn't matter what Singed does. Like, unless he's a challenger Singed, there's nothing he will do. Of course, in this matchup, if you play against Singe, you could go for Ignite, although usually I would go for Teleport, because if he does actually farm between 2 turrets, you can still use your TP and help out your team. But yeah, most of the time, Singe will farm between 2 turrets. He will probably int, because that's how the champ works. Like, I've never seen a successful Singed in my life before. No one knows how to play Singed. It's kind of an interesting champion, honestly. But if you go for short trades, you can eventually just all in. If he uses E, just all in, and you will win. And you will also outscale him like pretty hard. But yeah, I feel like I'm losing my voice right now, so I'm actually very happy that I covered all of these matchups, man. I've literally covered all top laners. Wow. All right. Thank you for watching today's Riven Guide. Let me know in the comments if you've actually seen literally all of these. I'm actually pretty curious if you guys actually listened to my voice for all this time. Oh man, I can feel my voice. But yeah, thank you for being here on today's Riven Guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I was able to help, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.